1990s, heightened sensitivity in humans was not widely talked about, but in 1991, a psychologist named Dr. Elaine Aron began to study this trait more closely. Surprisingly, she discovered that 15 to 20% of the population carries the trait that classifies them as highly sensitive, which means they respond to external stimuli more noticeably than non-HSPs. They simply have a different way of processing sensory information due to the parts of their brain that regulate emotions being more responsive than the brains of their less sensitive counterparts. Everyone emits energy and feelings, whether they want to or not. Empaths are like emotional sponges, soaking up everything around them and processing what it means for them as well as the person giving off those vibes. For that reason, it can be incredibly draining as an empath because you're always dealing with other people's emotional state, even if you don't want to. Highly sensitive people respond deeply to their environment and can easily pick up on people that are not genuine. They need honest, deep, meaningful relationship with others and usually feel on edge around fake people. Have you ever spent time with someone who seemed quite pleasant and kind on the surface, but when you were physically near them, you felt gross? You could barely form a sentence. You immediately went from okay to blah. In a manner of speaking, this is because your empathetic antenna is picking up on something that's just not right. You know that what you are seeing and what is really going on doesn't match, and that usually means someone's hiding something. Being an empath in a largely desensitized world comes with a lot of challenges, one of them being dealing with disingenuous people. When an empath meets someone they perceive as fake, they tend to either stay totally silent or stumble over their words. Empaths can see right through a fake persona, and this sends them into a state of alarm. They start to experience physical and mental symptoms that wouldn't make sense to those who don't identify as an empath. Sweaty hands, fast heartbeat, feelings of dread, and exhaustion, among others. Empaths feel the pain that people sweep under the rug and try to hide behind a fake persona. Empaths know that these fake people don't necessarily mean any harm, but they just have a lot of healing left to do here on Earth. These common situations you will encounter as an empath can leave you feeling drained. Someone who acts like a pushover in order to get accepted by everyone they meet. A person who conceals their hatred and anger but comes off as nice and friendly. Someone who had a bad upbringing and feels vulnerable and insecure yet tries to act unshaken and tough. A person who tries too hard to act a certain way, which goes against their natural personality. Someone dishing out fake compliments in order to feel accepted. A person who embellishes in order to get people to like them. And the empath will usually react like this, avoiding them not necessarily because they did something wrong, but just because you don't get good vibes around them. You can't form logical sentences and speech becomes difficult. You will also forget important details of your life if they ask you about them. Getting an overwhelming feeling of dread and discomfort that only dissipates when you are no longer in their company. Literally feeling sick after spending extended periods of time with them. Feelings of confusion and guilt for not being able to spend time with this person, especially if you actually like them. Wanting to run as far away from them as possible. Empaths can read body language and energy like no other type of person and do not like lies and deception. However, even an empath can fake things in order to deal with the world. After all, none of us can truly know all of ourselves, so we put the self on display that we feel will gain the most acceptance. Empaths can fake feelings or an entire persona just to hide emotions or understate their pain. We've all done it, so if an empath picks up on this trait about yourself, this might mean that he or she actually sees that characteristic in themselves too. Life is a mirror, so we see in others what we actually see within us. For an empath, coming across a fake person simply drains their energy, but they don't wish these people any harm. Empaths try to love everyone and show compassion as much as possible, so they might send them a wish of healing or love after seeing them in person. If you're an empath, here are a few things you can do to retain composure and avoid feeling drained around fake people. Don't be afraid to say no. Many times, empaths feel they can't maintain their sensitivity while also speaking up for themselves and possibly letting others down. Remember though, when you say no to someone's request, this doesn't make you a bad person. It simply means you have a lot on your plate and can't possibly make everyone happy. In life, we have a limited amount of time each day and can't always get everything done that we'd like to. However, prioritizing things can help you knock off the important tasks on your list, and saying no further aids you in managing your time wisely. If someone gets hurt because you said no, remember that they have the responsibility to choose how they want to feel, and your response shouldn't dictate their emotions. Always follow your heart. Empaths can often get swept up in the idea that they have to do what others want because they have a duty here to heal the planet and everyone on it. Empaths often don't take time to look after themselves properly. Never sacrifice your dreams just to please others. This won't lead to fulfillment in the long term. Following your heart means bravely stepping into the path of your dreams and not letting anyone stand in the way. Just focus on improving your own life and doing things that makes you feel good, and this will help you become more assertive. Don't be a people pleaser. People pleasing might seem harmless, but in reality, it can quickly become dangerous and self-destructive. When you try to bend over backwards to please everyone, you push your needs to the back burner, and doing this too much can make you feel exhausted. If you have a high self-esteem, you'll realize that you need to meet your own needs first before you can possibly take care of everyone else. Empaths don't think they're better than anyone else, but some people are near impossible to tolerate. Having a heightened sensitivity to the world makes them physically and emotionally sick. That's just how it is. For most people, their biggest cause of unhappiness is due to not knowing themselves. When we hide a side of ourselves from the world without knowing why, it causes us pain. It is important for the empath to uncover any hidden traits and emotion, because whilst we bury a side of us we do not like, we will never be happy or feel complete. However, the problem we have is that too many of us do not know the root cause of our unhappiness. Quite often, many traits we buried have in fact been inherited and passed down the family line. Wherever they stemmed from, it is important for us to uncover these traits, and if they can't be changed, because some traits are hardwired, accept and learn to live with them. Sensitive people will bury negative traits because we know how destructive they are, but burying them does not lose them. They will always show up and cause damage. Hate, anger, jealousy, and fear of rejection are 4 traits most often buried. We may hate someone for the way they have behaved towards us. Anger may have been inherited from an angry parent. Praise and attention bestowed on a childhood friend or sibling may have led to a jealous streak, and being rejected as a child by an unknowing parent, for instance, may have built up inside of us as intense fear of rejection. All very simple and innocent triggers, but all of which can snowball and lead us to have a deep set of insecurities that we feel have to remain hidden. When we recognize and accept a trait in self, it loses its hold. Be your true and authentic self. It's emotionally free. There's a lot going on in the mind of an empath. They can feel and see things others cannot. Empaths are deep thinkers and love to understand the human condition closely. They find it dull to be around superficial people and don't see any point in small talk. They would like to get to know people and forge a strong connection with people interested not just at the superficial level. All they seek is the real ugly face and not the beautiful mask.